Hi, Yinz doing? Welcome to the Where Yinz Going podcast. I'm Matt. I'm your host. Joining me again today is Maureen, who has always has a bit of an international flavor with her visits. Today is no exception, so it's good to talk to you again, Maureen.
Good to be back.
Actually, I guess maybe we should say bonjour.
Bonjour. There you go. There you go.
So we are gonna talk today with Maureen about her trip to Disneyland Paris. And you can just like spread me on some bread with some peanut butter because I am totally jelly at the moment.
It was fabulous. It was so much fun.
I have been to Paris. I've been to the Eiffel Tower, and at the top they had like a little directional thing that could show you like, all right, now here's where Notre Dame is, and here's where, and they had here. Well, I think back then it was like Euro Disney,
Probably
and
Euro
so it
did.
was
Yeah.
pointing to off in the direction. It was like I can sort of squint and see it. So yeah, but I will
And,
get
and,
back,
yeah, you have to. You have to.
and especially after I've talked to Maureen and heard some of the things she's going to gush about, you'll want to go there too. So, but diving right in, Disneyland Paris is in Marne-la-Vallée. Is that how? All right, we need to get
You
good.
need someone that speaks French to do that, right? And that is not my expertise there.
We just had Amanda on for the last couple episodes talking about Disney character dining. She took French in high school, so we need to invite her in to do the pronunciation.
True. I took Latin. It's not helping me. So,
I took Spanish, yeah, and actually our Latin teacher retired the year my eighth grade year was his last year, so he taught my dad and then taught
oh
my
my
older sister.
gosh.
So yes, he was
Wow.
around there for a long time. So, but Disneyland Paris is about 20 miles east of Paris. And as I just mentioned, when you go to the Eiffel Tower, there's little markers and you can see one of them for Disneyland Paris. So you know where to look for it. But yeah, you really can't see anything. It's 20 miles away. Although from up there, you can kind of see it, but you need a really clear day to actually make anything out and know what you're looking for too.
You can squint and just imagine. You can see the ears on top of the tower. That's what
The,
you can do.
the mind's eye, exactly.
Right, right.
Imagination's a lot time, sometimes better. So this opened on April 12th, 1992. This is before Maureen and I were born, even. So it's way old.
Absolutely.
At least that's what we tell ourselves. Actually, in my mind, whenever I think back and I'm talking to someone's like, yeah, 1992, that wasn't too. Oh, yeah, that was like 30 some years ago. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I was 12 in 1992. So I was like, I'm perpetually like a mentally a 12-year-old because that's the
We're
time
not
I
going
think of.
there. We're not going
So
there at all.
Maureen's just a little bit younger than me.
Right, exactly.
My aunt, she got to a certain age and then she started counting backwards. So, you can relive your youth. Maureen is young at heart, as are most of the people I have on this podcast, which is why we're so much fun.
Hence
But
the
for
ears.
yes, and Maureen has on her Disneyland Paris ears with Stitch in the middle. So it just says it all about Maureen right there. She has good
That's right.
taste. Now, from its opening in 1992 until May 31st, 1994, it was called the Euro Disney Resort with Euro and then Euro Disneyland and was the actual park and then Disney Village. Then June 1st, 1994 to September 30th, so a short time, just a couple months over the summer, it was Euro Disneyland Paris. There's a mouthful. And then after that, they changed from October 1st, 1994 to March 15th, 2002. It was just Disneyland Paris. Then March 16th to April 3rd, March 16th, 2022 to April 3rd, 2009, it was Disneyland Resort Paris. And the reason they made the change then is because Walt Disney Studios Park opened on March 16th, 2002. Then April 4th, 2009, it went back to Disneyland Paris, which I think is the right choice.
All right. Me too.
Disney, yeah, Disney often gets really, really elaborate with their names, and shorter is better. So, like, what is it in Hollywood Studios with the Frozen sing along?
Oh yeah, the
It's like the for the first time in forever, a
for,
Frozen sing along. It's like, okay, we can shorten that.
right. You can shorten that. Frozen sing along right there.
What was it? Brevity's the soul of wit. You know, as my grade school, well, yes, junior high, seventh, eighth grade history teacher, you say short, sweet, and to the point. Okay.
There you go.
Now, Disneyland Paris has 17,000 employees, which is the largest single site employer in all of France.
It's crazy.
Say 17,000. No kidding. It's wow. If there was anything bigger, I'd be surprised. The resort is shaped like a circle, and I think they could have done a little bit of work here. They could have added just two little more plots of land to the northeast and northwest. It would have been perfect. Two little more circles you can add on. But come on, Imagineers, you missed a chance.
But it's still, and they're still building on within the parks. I mean, they are still building on within.
Yeah, so maybe they can acquire a little more land. Come on.
Maybe
But people often talk about getting into the Disney bubble. You're in the Disney circle there, literally.
and you are from the time you arrive. And we took a train from Paris into the parks to Disney. It was great. It was easy to get on from Paris with and we took our luggage with us. We did carry on, and we took our luggage with us. When you get off the train in the train station, it is literally between the two parks. You're right outside Disneyland Paris itself, and then you're right next to the part where the buses are for the transportation to the hotels. You would literally get out of the train station and you're within that Disney bubble. It's crazy.
And this is
And
something
what,
that's,
go
go ahead.
ahead. I was gonna say one tip is if you take the train, sit upstairs. We didn't know any better, and we walked in with our luggage and just went down and sat down. And you're going through the French countryside, and it's beautiful. But every so often, you're going down lower. So we were down below below sea level, below land, and the people up on top could actually see the whole countryside. So we saw it off and on. They saw the whole thing. If you get on the train and take the train from Paris, sit up on top. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and train transportation in Europe is just so easy, so
Oh, it's
convenient.
amazing. It's
Uh,
great.
I've told this story on here before that whenever my sister and now brother-in-law started dating when they were in college, that my brother-in-law had to go to Germany to finish his school, that he was studying international business, and that was kind of his exchange student type thing where he lived abroad. Him and actually another fraternity brother, we were all in the same fraternity, all who went to our college also were there. So um, my sister and I got to go over and see him. That they started dating, and then he left short time after that, and then this was maybe it was around Christmas that he had to leave for the spring semester, and around February or so, my sister says, "How would you like to go to Germany?" I was like, "That'd be cool someday." She goes, "How about this May?" It's like, "Oh." And so what the deal was is she had talked to my parents, and my parents were not going to let her go by herself. So I had to go. So I was forced to go with my sister
Darn,
on
you
the
had to
European.
go
The things you do for your siblings.
for
I
your,
mean,
yep, exactly. When you got to do it, you got to do it. I mean,
uh, she would have killed me if I hadn't said yes. So, but yeah. But we were in Germany for about a week, in his hometown of Paderborn, or well, where his university was. And then we went to a couple of side trips, taking trains to different areas pretty near there. And then we took a train from Paderborn through Belgium into Paris. And so, same type of thing is that they often, by the along the train tracks, they have like these berms built up. So
hmm
all you see is just this mound of dirt. So I think Disney took trains through Europe beforehand. I think you got that idea from for the berms around the parks that really
probably, yeah,
locks you
right,
in.
yeah, yeah.
So
But it
again,
was
like
it was great.
Maureen said, if you're up higher, you can see a whole lot more. So then we're going through Belgium, and we saw that's what we saw a lot of. It was just a single story, one level on our train. It was like, okay, there's a mound of dirt.
Right. It's nice
Belgium's,
dirt too. Very nice
yeah.
dirt.
So if you're looking, dirt connoisseurs out there, Belgium, really good dirt. So then going through into Paris and everything, the train travel was very easy, very convenient, and
And very reasonable.
oh yeah, and whenever you do get to see views, like Maureen said, gorgeous. So now inside your Disney bubble here, or the Disney circle, Disneyland Paris, the park is kind of in the northwest of it. Walt Disney Studios Park is in the west, so a little bit south of it. Disney Village is in the east, and
And
then
I just have to share this real quick.
yes,
Because we've been to Disney World, Disneyland, everybody has their own thing. You've got Downtown Disney, you've got Disney Springs, now you've got Disney Village. We we're getting them all mixed up. So we renamed them, and it's the Village of Downtown Disney Springs because we were every time we want to do something or like if we want to go to Disney, the Village, where are we going again? So we basically renamed it the Village of Downtown Disney Springs and incorporated everybody.
I think you need to make one more addition to that to the Village of Downtown Disney Springs in Ko'olina, Hawaii,
Oh,
because
I
it just
love it. There you
brings in
go.
the
There you
Alani
go.
thing.
Yes, it brings in the Alani. Absolutely.
And if you don't get that reference, watch our or go listen to our Alani episodes that Maureen was on, and you get the inside joke.
Yes.
And now the hotels are kind of in the east too. They're a little bit south of, well, I think they kind of surround Disney Village, somewhere in the north, somewhere in the south. And then there are partner hotels that are in the south of the bubble and a little bit outside of the park, kind of the south and southeast. And then with the hotels, there are seven of them that are the Disney hotels. There are shuttles for all the hotels other than the Disneyland Hotel and the Davy Crockett Ranch. But the Disneyland Hotel is so close, you don't need a shuttle.
You
So,
literally walk through it to get into the park.
yeah, and
It's beautiful.
the setup of this reminds me a lot of Disneyland, how it is so close and everything's so walkable.
It is. It's not as walkable as Disneyland Park because the parks are. The two parks are great. I mean, you're right there, as well as
Hmm.
Disney Village. But the hotel itself, when you're walking through, you're walking. You can either walk up through the lobby or you can walk underneath or around it. But you have to walk within very close proximity to that hotel, and it reminds me very much of Grand Californian or Grand Floridian.
Hmm.
Very much Grand Floridian. It's just that whole look about it. And as you come out, you're within the park. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and well, we'll talk about that right now. That it's a five-star hotel and it's a Victorian design. And like Maureen
Hmm.
said, it's gonna be similar to the Grand Floridian. You're gonna see like that similar flavor, but Grand Floridian is also built in that style. And again, right outside the entrance to Disneyland Paris Park. And one neat thing about the hotels there is that you can actually meet some characters in the hotels.
Hmm.
So
We
I
had
know,
what we were good. We were
go.
staying at the um Sequoia at the thing. And every morning we'd go to breakfast and they actually had a little spot where they had a meet and greet every morning for the guests there with characters. And so they were able to do that before they ever left the hotel to go to the parks or wherever they wanted to go. And I know the other ones did it as well, but this they did it at ours.
Yeah, I know in Disneyland there are you can meet some characters in the hotels as well. Specifically at the Pixar Place Hotel, there
Hmm.
are
Oh,
some of the
yeah.
characters in the lobby. So this is a nice little added feature. Come on, Walt Disney World, hint hint. Although they have a lot like
Oh, there's been some. I've actually had some characters wander into the hotels every so often. It's kind of a surprise. You never know. These are actually planned. They have signs up that tell you they're going to be there. I've had a couple times at Disney World have some characters walk in. You're kind of like, oh, look who's here.
I guess I'm just never in the hotel that much. I'm always at the parks. So they might be all over the place. I just never see them. Now, next up, oh, also there are like 20 restaurants and bars that are scattered throughout all these hotels. We're not going to name all of those. We can have another episode where we just talk about the hotels here because the hotels look really amazing. We're going to touch on them and give you a general overview, but we could go into a whole episode just like on
Hmm.
each hotel because they look pretty good. The Disney Hotel New York, The Art of Marvel. So again, longer names with Disney. This is a four-star
Right.
hotel. New York, it's basically New York with decorations inspired by the Marvel superheroes. This is on the north end of Disney Village, and it's about a 10-minute walk from the parks.
And it's the first stop when you take a bus over to the resorts.
So there it's that's also a important game plan thing of where you're at on the bus line and how long do you have to be on the bus, both to and from the park, and that can make a big difference. I know being on the bus, like, oh yeah, we're so excited. We have 10 more stops. What? And
Right.
okay. Next up is Disney Newport Bay Club, another four-star hotel. It's a 1920 seaside mansion with Mickey. This is on the southern edge of Disney Village, about a 15-minute walk from the park. And as you go through these, you're going to notice there's kind of a an American taste to them. It's like places from America, like New
Hmm.
York and Newport, and you're going to see some similarities with certain hotels that are in Walt Disney World and potentially Disneyland as well, like the Grand Floridian with the Disneyland Hotel,
Hmm.
Newport Bay. It's kind of like the gives me a little bit of a vibe of like a yacht and beach club type thing.
Yeah, kind of, because I was able to stand at the out the back of the Sequoia Lodge. Um, when I walked out back, there's almost like a boardwalk type of thing that you could walk towards the New York, and then you walk towards the seaside, and you can stand there and see both of them, and very much kind of like the yacht beach club vibe. And as you stand at back of Sequoia, you also sit across to the village of Disney, the Disney Village, the Village of Disney, whatever. You see, this is why I did that. But you see across, and we actually stood there and watched the hot air balloon come up across. You can see the whole area across the water. So you can walk from one end to the other quite easily if you don't want to take the bus.
Yeah, and speaking of Disney Sequoia Lodge, it's a three-star hotel. It's a Grand Lodge with Bambi. So also, you see they each of those hotels kind of have their character. So there's a main theme, and then there's like a sub theme that's related to that with a character.
And
This is
Sequoia's grounds, and you could see this with Sequoia's grounds because you're as you start walking, they've got these paths through all the woods, and you feel like you're in this little wooded area. It's beautiful. And they've got all these little places you wander around. Their pool is actually in another area within the grounds so that the woods are surrounding it. It was amazing. And then all of a sudden you pop out and oh, we're actually still at Disney. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, this is on the eastern edge of Disney Village. So you see that those three hotels kind of surround Disney Village. They're real close to um, being able to get in to it. It's about a 15-minute walk from the parks.
And maybe 5-10 minutes on the bus because we stopped at New York first and then ours. So I mean it was not a very long ride. One thing I will share too is that these are very much European hotels in the respect that we had two double beds. They're not queen beds. And so they're not, and for those of Americans who are used to having two queen beds, you are not going to get that. And there are very few outlets. So the outlet situation is much different than the States. We were hunting for outlets to plug things in. And of course, we had our adapters with us. We had our European adapters with us, but still, it was hard to find them. It's just different as far as that. But it was lovely. It was fine.
And I'm sure you can find it somewhere the adapters that we have one whenever we go to Indonesia to see my wife's family that it plugs into the Indonesian outlet and then it has like a little pack that has two American plugs in it and then it has a couple USB plugs in it too. So we have all the
But
stuff that we can.
right, we did. We had an adapter that we could do. We each had one that had the USBs and we everything else. But things like plugs close to the bed,
Oh
for
yeah,
instance, CPAPs or things people need like that, there were none.
bring your
So
extension
they were
cord as well.
yeah, right. But then you're not allowed to bring them on the cruise. So then you're stuck with that one. I think if you'd asked, we probably could have gotten one. We just didn't. We decided we were only there for 2 nights. Wasn't that big a deal. We would make it work. We did
So
have
yeah,
breakfast buffet there too. It was quite nice because it was interesting. Their breakfast buffet, and we stayed club level, so the breakfast buffet was included with club level. Um, it was very much a European breakfast, and they had traditional things like baked beans, like what the English like for breakfast. So they had the baked beans for breakfast, and they had soft boiled eggs to put on toast. They also had the most brilliant orange juice machine where you just put the little button and it squeezes the orange for you and the juice comes out and it was fabulous. But it was interesting because it wasn't just your typical breakfast fare. They had a multitude of options, including they do have Mickey waffles there. That was not at a loss, so we still had those.
yes. So fresh squeezed orange juice and Mickey waffles. Okay, sign me
Absolutely.
up. I
Yep,
could do that.
yep. And really good coffee.
And after with a little bit of jet lag and getting up in the morning to go to the parks, that's a
Yes,
must.
exactly.
Next on our list is the Disney Hotel Cheyenne, three-star hotel. It's themed to the Wild West with Woody and Jesse. It's in the north of Disney Village. It's about a 20-minute walk from the parks. I think there's a fascination kind of with the Wild West here because, or at least the American West, because next is the Disney Hotel Santa Fe.
Well, and we get to the parks, we'll talk about that too. We noticed that in the parks. In
Hmm.
fact, we started asking, going, are they really fascinated with the Western and Wild West? Because that was very evident at the park too. It's interesting.
Yeah, I know there were in the 60s and everything, they had the spaghetti westerns. They were all filmed in Italy. I mean, are there
Hmm.
like the baguette westerns too? They were
Yeah.
filmed in France or escargot westerns? I don't know what you would call those.
I don't- I like it though.
Next, the for the Disney Hotel Santa Fe, it's a two-star hotel. It's Southwest Glitz and Glamour with Lightning McQueen. North of Disney Village, and it's east of the Hotel Cheyenne. So you see they're all kind of around there, about 20-minute walk from the parks. And then the Disney Davy Crockett Ranch. So again, going back to the well, I guess it's wilderness more with Davy Crockett.
More
He
will,
wasn't quite
yeah,
so far
yeah.
west. Then these are cabins, so kind of like the Fort
Like
Wilderness
Port Wilderness,
Lodge
yeah.
cabin things that they have now. This is southeast of Disneyland Paris Resort, so it's outside of the circle. It's about a 15-minute drive from the parks. There is no shuttle, so please be careful with that. And now let's get to the parks. Disneyland Park is about 140 acres, so normal, standard-ish type Magic Kingdom Disneyland Park style thing. A little bit bigger than Disneyland. They get about 10.5 million visitors every year.
And
Typically
I
open
don't know whether we were at a good time or what, but it did. Neither park felt crowded. Either that, or we're really used to Disney World and Disneyland, where you feel like you're, shoulder to
sardines.
shoulder.
Yeah,
It just did not feel crowded.
that's always nice.
It was lovely.
I think you just brought some of your Disney magic with you.
Exactly. That's what it was.
No, it's typically open from like 9:30 in the morning till like somewhere between like 9 o'clock. And this is weird that the latest opening I saw was like 10:40, not 10:30, not 11 o'clock, 10:40. So
We noticed that too. We noticed that
European
too. And it was almost like it had to do with whatever their sunset was, because the sun stayed up quite a bit longer for us over there. So whatever their sunset was when they were going to do any of the nighttime shows, their time, and it was always a weird time like that.
10:37 and 52 seconds is when we're
Exactly.
closing.
Exactly. Because we noticed it too. It was like 10:40. What's it doing at 10:40?
So, but if it's tied to the sunset, that could make sense.
That's we made it up, but we thought it sounded good. So,
Yeah, it's all good. Whatever. If you're gonna be more time, I'll stay.
that's right.
Now they do have extra magic hours that are open from 8:30 in the morning till 9:30. So you get a full hour of extra magic hours in the morning. That's nice for those staying at the Disney hotels, that
At the
is.
Disney hotels. Yeah.
There are 35 restaurants in the park. We're not gonna really go through all of them. I'll highlight a few as we go along of things that you might find familiar or things that stand out that were kind of unique or that drew my attention at least, and Maureen can comment on them too. That well, as in all Disneyland style parks, they have Main Street USA, and it's the
And it looked very, I mean, you felt at home when you walked in.
yeah, it's early
It
20th
just,
century
yep,
small town America. So
yep.
Marceline, Missouri. And now,
It felt the same way.
what is different though is that they have Liberty Arcade and Discovery Arcade, which are covered walkways. Gee, Maureen, why would they have covered walkways at Disneyland Paris?
I don't know. Why would they?
Because it's in Paris and they sometimes get bad weather and it's not always nice and warm all year round.
But Disney World doesn't do that.
But Disney World's at least warm all year round. This
That's
there
true.
you can
That's
get
true.
in Paris. It's not a warm weather place, so they sometimes can get snow there. They can get the rain,
Well, I hadn't thought about that because you're right. You're
and so
right.
they keep it covered a bit. So yeah, and I guess they can heat
And
it
I
and so
didn't
keep it
honestly
warmer.
even notice that part because we were right down the middle. So we were
And
walking
with
right down the middle of Main Street.
yeah, and I guess European. Well, it depends on some of the Europeans that they do not handle. At least English do not like the heat very much. So if you get hot days, that what covered walkway is going to be really nice in the summer.
There were a lot of umbrellas. I will say that.
Well,
A lot
the
of like
parasols.
umbrellas, I say. Parasols. There you go. There are a
Yep.
lot of those. A lot of those. And
Although,
it really, we were not even that hot. The week before apparently had been incredibly hot. And we felt comfortable. Of course, we're coming from Texas, so we felt it was great. But there was a lot of parasols, yes.
although having a covered walkway that you can maybe air condition a little bit in Disney
That
World,
would be
that
nice. Yes. Epcot, actually, a covered walkway in Epcot would be
to walk around,
brilliant.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Animal
Yeah.
Kingdom, that place seems like it's hotter than
See,
any
I
other
think
parks.
Epcot is. I think Epcot is the hottest. I can't ever find shade in Epcot.
Yeah.
One of the things we noticed though, and this was throughout the whole park, but particularly Main Street, walking down Main Street, they don't have photographers up and down taking pictures. So you don't have the equivalent of the photo pass people at Disney every so many feet taking pictures of the castle in front of the castle in front of the castle. You didn't see that. There were some photographers here and there, but there were not all these people lined up waiting to get pictures. There were cast members that will take a picture for you. There were people taking pictures of each other. And I'm sure they're photographers, but they're not as noticeable. You don't see them. And they were not lined up all the way down Main Street taking pictures of people in front of the castle. It was interesting.
So you don't have to pause for the traffic jams that happen every once in a while.
Exactly. Exactly.
Speaking of traffic jams, though, there are vehicles on Main Street. They have the
Mhm.
horse-drawn streetcars and some of the Main Street vehicles like the fire truck and things along those lines. So those look familiar. There's also the Disneyland Railroad with the Main Street station.
And we were so sad. That's the one thing we didn't get to ride.
Well,
Every
you did
time we
get to,
wanted to try to get, we didn't ride we rode the train from Paris. We did that, but we didn't get to ride the actual the railroad around the park because every time we
yeah.
went to get on it, that particular station was closed down.
Oh, wow. Well, it
We
just means
just
you got to
missed
go
that one.
back.
I know. Absolutely. I mean,
Now, a couple places you will find, well, one place you'll find familiar is Casey's Corner. So you can get your hot
mhm.
dogs there. Did they have the piano player out front, though?
They did not have a piano player. At least there
Oh.
was not one that day. Maybe there is, but there was not one that day.
All right. And then
But what we did see, Casey's Corner was there. Yes,
then there's the Plaza Gardens restaurant. So kind of a
kind of the similar
similar
to,
to what's in, yeah.
yeah, on the other side.
Yeah, it's in this where you can have some character dining as well. And then there's also Waltz, an American restaurant, which is that's the official name, Waltz, an American
Well,
restaurant.
yes, right, right. Yes, exactly.
So I guess they're warning all the Europeans away. Be careful, it's American food,
It's American.
not the
Don't eat it.
not fine dining French cuisine. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of similarities to the normal what you're used to there, but slight differences. So that's the thing that you're gonna get in the some of the international parks. And even whenever you compare Walt Disney World with Disneyland, it's similar yet different.
Different, right? There's things that you can say, yes, that looks like, but just enough subtle differences that make it fun and interesting.
Keeps you on your toes. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
it's enough to say, "Oh, I'm in my happy place." Wait, that shouldn't be there. That's different. Oh, so
We
makes it
did a lot
unique
of
and
comparing. We did a
yeah.
lot of comparing.
And
We
we'll get to
did.
the ultimate comparison
Yeah,
later on with what
yeah, yeah.
Maureen thinks. Now in Frontierland, it's 19th century American West mining town of Thunder Mesa. That's pretty much familiar to Walt Disney World. And it's the Legends of the Wild West. This is a walkthrough museum that has like a 49er, Davy Crockett, Buffalo Bill, things like that. And they also have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, although different, that it's on an
Oh,
island in Rivers of
but
America.
it starts over on the land and you go under the water to get to that island. So you are riding under the water underneath and then you come up to the mountain across the way. It's brilliant. It's a longer ride than both of the other two, and it is amazing. That's the one my husband said he wishes we could have gone back and did it again.
And you're going to hear this about a couple of the attractions that are in Disneyland Paris, that they have these little quirks to them that make it so interesting. It's like, I wish I could do that here type thing.
Oh,
So
yeah, it was great. It was great.
now the one thing is this is basically taking the place of Tom Sawyer's Island, where that would normally be. Although since Tom Sawyer's Island is now disappearing from Magic Kingdom Park, boo.
Right.
I mean, I'm excited about the new Cars attraction, but having a
But still,
very
that's yeah.
I have a very active 5 year old, and
And that's
that's
a
where
great
we
place
go
to
to
run
run.
around. Yeah.
Uh-huh. She get off that energy. The get as
Hmm.
some people say, get out the wiggles. I'm sure you're familiar with that, Maureen,
Oh, yeah,
with
absolutely.
youngsters, and it's necessary to have that place. So I hope they add something new in
Something
Magic
else that you
Kingdom.
could go, yeah.
Next up is Phantom Manor, which is basically a haunted house. Uh,
Again, fabulous.
and so the ballroom scene is different here.
Yes. So there's so much of it different. For one thing, it's based on actual story. So it's just not a haunted mansion going through. This is a story of Melanie Ravenswood and how the whole story about how her had suitors, and the ballroom is actually supposed to be her wedding reception. So it's just a very different feel. Casey, my daughter, said it was much more zombified than either Disneyland or Walt Disney World. It's totally not it's totally different. The stretching sequence in the first room, they're not just random pictures. They're actually all of Melanie Ravenwood's suitors and how they met their unfortunate ends. It's just it's it was so cool. It was so because you walk in expecting either Disneyland or Disney World, and while it's similar, again, like we talked about, there were differences that were just like, "That is so cool. Did you see that? Oh, did you notice that?" It was it was great. It was great.
Yeah, so you got some similar elements to the US versions, but again, differences. And so here's the
Mhm.
big question though. Did the stretching room, did the roof go up or did the floor go down?
That's for them to find out when they visit.
And that's why Maureen is so good. That's a nice tease.
Mhm.
So, and by the way, if you listen to one of the prior episodes of this podcast, we talked with Amanda about the SEA, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, and Melanie Ravenswood comes up in that. Um,
Oh, interesting.
Amanda and I also talked about this was around last Halloween about the Haunted Mansion and the Tower of Terror. And so we also went into some of the details about the other haunted mansions around the other parks. So we talk a little bit about this too. So you can get a little bit more of the background and details if you want to go diving into old episodes. Next, the Frontierland Theater.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to highlight. We one of my favorite shows at Disney World is the Festival of the Lion King at Animal Kingdom. It is probably one of the I know it's a never miss for me. And so one of the shows we didn't have time to do a lot of the shows because we only had basically a day and a half. This was what I wanted to do. We did, and we'll talk about this later. We did go ahead and purchase a guaranteed seat for that, so we made sure we got in because it's full. This was by far one of the best performances I think I've ever seen in anywhere, period, let alone an amusement park. It was much more geared to the actual story of the Lion King, not like the Festival of Lion King. This was more geared to the story, very much like the Broadway version would be. There was no characters that dressed in full costumes, such as Tim Simba or anybody else. They were total people with their costumes on, but with the details that were amazing. Their shoes had claws, so it looked like their feet had the claws. Their costumes themselves totally became the characters. The tumbling monkeys, which is one of my favorite parts of the Festival of Lion King and in Animal Kingdom, they had similar, but what they did was phenomenal throughout the entire show. They incorporated so many different things. It was at one point I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I like this better than the Festival of Lion King. And my daughter turned and went, wow, that says a lot right there. I mean, it was, and that was one of the things that we were talking last night that she said, don't forget, you got to talk about the festival, the rhythms of the Pride Land, because that's what their whole thing was. It's the Lion King rhythms of the Pride Land. It was amazing. The weirdest thing was though, is we found it was in Frontierland. And I'm looking at Animal Kingdom Rhythms of the Pride Land, Lion King, Africa, and Frontierland. It was just
Hey, cars now have
hard
a
to,
spot in Frontierland, and
true. It's just like
so is
my head
Tiana's.
just
So yeah.
couldn't kind of wrap it around there. But other than that, well worth it. Make sure to you get a guarantee reserve because they line you up. One area is for people just stand by. The other area is people with guaranteed reserve. Guaranteed reserve go in first. They're not reserved seats, but you get in. And everybody else, it just depends on how many they can fill in.
And Festival of the Lion King, that we saw that with our daughter this last visit to Disney World in January, and she was in kind of one of our moods that day that she was being stubborn and obstinate, and I hate this, I don't want to look. But then the Tumble Monkeys came out, and it completely changed her, and the Stilt Walkers, and we were
Hmm.
um the monkeys, they would kind of lift their arm up and scratch their armpit and then smell their hand, and so she thought
Right.
that
So
was the
she thought that was,
funniest.
yeah.
Oh yes, that became a thing in our house for a while. And
What was,
we were go
go
ahead.
ahead.
So we were fortunate enough that we were kind of on the edge of one of the seating areas, and the stilt walkers, that there was this young lady who was a stilt walker, and she kind of was standing next to us as the performance was going on, and she was doing the heart hands to my daughter and waving to her and everything. So
Oh,
that
fun.
individualized attention that my daughter just
Yes.
ate up. So it was a we went from tired and crabby to, oh, I completely love this, to tired and crabby at the end, I don't want this to end, can we do it again, type thing. So
Right. Right.
but at least we had that reprieve in the middle.
What was interesting with this was that and it didn't even dawn on me immediately, is that they were all the songs were in English. They were
Oh, that's
singing. I mean, not that we wouldn't have known them anyway because we know the music, but it was in English, and there's some more dialogue that was in French, but the songs were all sung in English. It was interesting.
I guess it might be difficult to translate a song and get the same
Possibly,
meaning, but with the still keep the rhyming schemes in different languages.
yeah, possibly. I don't know. It was interesting because it didn't dawn on me until we were into the show. Like, oh, not that I wouldn't have known it anyway because you know the music, but yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
So there
it
you go. You
was
can
it was
still understand something.
brilliant, right? It was brilliant though, brilliant.
No, a few other things they have here is the Thunder Mesa Riverboat Landing, so you can take the boats. There's the Rustler Roundup Shooting Gallery, and then the Frontierland Playground. So even though they don't have Tom Sawyer Island, there is a place for
A
kids to run
place to
around and
play.
play.
Yeah,
Thank goodness. The Disneyland Railroad has their Frontierland Depot,
that
and
one was
then,
closed too.
of course. And actually, whenever we were in France, there was a worker strike at the Louvre, so we could not go in. We got to
Oh
see like
no,
the pyramids and stuff, but we couldn't go into the actual museum. So I don't know, maybe it was a railroad worker strike there, possibly. I don't know.
right there you go.
Now, places to eat. There's the Cowboy Cookout Barbecue, which is a quick service Tex-Mex place. There's the Last Chance Cafe, another quick service Tex-Mex, and the Lucky Nugget Saloon, which is table service, also Tex-Mex. So I think they're having a theme there.
And we were looking to to remember where we ate because we did a quick service and none of us remember where it was because we wandered around just looking at menus and trying to find a place, and wherever it was fine, but I have no idea where it was now.
And another place they do have is the Silver Spur Steakhouse. So you can get some good steaks there. Moving on to Adventureland, they have it's like a remote jungle in the Caribbean, Middle East, Africa, India. So they really spread it out around,
Yes,
different
they do.
areas. Although I guess in Walt Disney World at Magic Kingdom they kind of do, because you have the jungles, the Jungle Cruise there. There's Pirates of the Caribbean. You have
That's true.
the bazaar of, like the Aladdin stuff,
Yeah, that's
Swiss
true.
Family
They do.
Robinson. So yeah, I guess it's
It's
Tiki
kind of
Room.
similar. Yeah.
And so what they have there is the Aladdin's Enchanted Passage, which is a walkthrough attraction that has windows showing the story of Aladdin. So it's kind of like what's in Sleeping Beauty Castle at
Hmm.
Disneyland, kind of like a diorama type thing. There's Adventure Isle, which is an island in Adventureland. And this is kind of like where the Tom Sawyer Island thing is too, that they have that other little area for kids to play around. And then in the northern part of it, So it's like broken into two areas with Adventure Isle. So there's that, and then the northern part is the Swiss Family Treehouse. And neat thing is, they have the Earth's Belly, which is dark caves filled with like the tree roots. The Swiss family used it as a cellar, so you can like actually go underneath it, which I think is pretty neat.
And we didn't, a lot of the, we were trying to maximize time because we did, when we arrived the night we got there, we did, because we flew in and went to Disney that day, went into the parks, got a lay of the land very quickly, and then went back and had dinner, went to bed. So the next day we had park hoppers, so we went back and forth, but we knew we had limited amount of time, so we'd go walk around these places, but didn't get to go into everything. It would have had more time, but gotta go back.
Again, another trip to plan.
Yep, yep, yep.
Now, the southern part of this island is Pirates Beach, which is the playground. There's Skull Rock and Jolly Roger, which is Captain Hook's ship, and you get to meet Captain Hook and Mr. Smee. So I remember that whenever I was in, oh, this our first trip to Disney. So I was just before my third birthday that I got to. I don't know if Mr. Smee held me or if I was just with him or whatever. But I have a picture with Mr. Smee, and then it was later on, like when we went, I was about 15, 18, somewhere in my teens. I was in high school. That Mr. Smee came by in a parade, and I got to shake his hand too, and we got a picture of that. So
Oh, cool.
this would be my chance to meet Mr. Smee again, see if he remembers me.
There you go. It's right.
And then it also has Spyglass Hill, which has mazes and caves and a hidden treasure. It's kind of themed to Treasure Island. So this is more of the Tom Sawyer Island play area type thing, like with what was it, Fort Langhorne that they have there, and then the little secret passages and running all around there. Just if you go in there, watch your head. It's
Mm,
sometimes low and it's Disney, but the Disney magic does not make it soft.
right.
And now familiar attractions, the Pirates of the Caribbean, which was like inside of this fortress.
Which was closed when we were there. We were so sad.
Yeah, I'd like to do a comparison on how that is with
I
the
yeah, we really wanted to do that when that was closed for renovation. We were there.
then there's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril, which is a roller coaster with a loop.
Oh my goodness. So when we've heard Indiana Jones, we went immediately thinking Disneyland's Indiana Jones. And the ride that was, that used to be the dinosaur that's becoming Indiana Jones at Disney World. So my daughter and I went on this because my husband's not a big coaster fan and we didn't know what to expect. We had no idea. We're going through the line and Casey says, "Do they have like over the shoulder harnesses on there?" I said, "Yeah." Get a little further up. She goes, "Oh my gosh, there's a loop on there." There is a loop. It's outdoors for one thing. So you're not inside anything like a lot of the other coasters. Everything's inside and dark. You're outside. This thing is fast. It's fun. And that loop goes. Yes, it does. It's not a big one, but it's a loop. We literally got to the front of the row and they stopped us. And then they said, "Okay, you have the front seat." And of course, my daughter, who's a coaster fanatic, looked at me and went, "Are you okay with that?" I'm like, "I guess I have to be." And we got in the front seat. As we're going out the first row, my husband's standing by the fence watching. He looked at it and he went, "First row." We giggled and laughed the entire way through. It was one of our favorite rides there. It
So
was so much fun.
Disneyland has the Incredicoaster, which I think is one of the smoothest rides, or smoothest roller coaster rides I have ever been on. It is so
I
much fun.
agree.
It
It
has the
is.
loop. It's kind of big. It's kind of fast, but it's very tame. How would you say this compares to that, or is
This
it a little more
reminds me more
adventurous?
of the one at California Adventure that has, and I forget, I think it's Goofy's that goes up and around and it goes really close and it's like sharp turns and it's that there's no loop, but it goes really fast in those little sharp turns. We
Okay,
kind of
so
felt
this
like it was that because there was no really sharp turns, but it's very compact. It's very small. So it's very compact, lots of up and down, lots of turns, one loop, but very fast. I didn't think it was rough. Like it's not nearly as rough as Space Mountain at Disneyland at Disney World. Not nearly. Not as smooth as Incredicoaster, but it's a whole different feel. And you're outside in what looks like um the whole area where the Temple of Peril would be, and the vines and the whole thing. So you get that feel. It was it was so much fun.
And so that's Goofy Sky School that's in on
Yes, that's
like
it.
right
It
by
was Goofy Sky.
Pixar Pier.
Very, yes, yes. It reminded us kind of that in the fact of how fast it was, but it didn't have the jolts where you go to the end and then suddenly turn. So it
Yeah,
didn't have that type of thing, but it did have it was very fast, smaller up and down and then bigger up and down and then the loop. But it was, yeah, we had it. It was great. It was great.
yeah, Goofy Sky School, and it's similar to what Primeval Whirl was. It's kind of like a wild mouse coaster. So
Yes,
this
kind
is
of
like
like
a
Wild
bigger
Mouse. And that's what
version.
reminds me. Hershey Park has a wild mouse. It reminded us of that as well, but it was not nearly as rough as that. It's
Yeah,
not
those
nearly
can
as
be.
jolting as that.
Yeah, the wild mouse you got to hold on.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really
This is not as jolting as that. No,
that's good.
but it was incredibly fun and totally unexpected. We didn't have a clue what to even think about, so it was great.
And now places to eat, just not right before you go on the Indiana Jones
No,
and the Temple of Peril,
no.
would be the Agrabah Cafe restaurant, which is Middle Eastern buffet, obviously, right, with the name. There's Captain Jack's Restaurant des Pirates or Pirates. It's Caribbean food. And then Colonel Hathie's Outpost Restaurant, which is a quick service Indian food restaurant.
It may have been where we ate because we love Indian food. I just don't remember. Whatever it was fine. It was good.
So there's two thumbs up for the food from Maureen. Whatever it was they ate, So just try
Whatever it
them
was, we ate. It
all.
was good. Yeah.
You'll be fine. Over in Fantasyland, they have Storybook Village. So this is inspired by European villages. And that's like the general theme of it. There's Sleeping Beauty Castle, which is 167 feet tall. So not quite Cinderella Castle, but a lot bigger than the other Sleeping Beauty Castle in Disneyland. It's kind of tall and skinny and has this large base to it.
Hmm.
And
It's
they have
very
the
pretty.
yeah, they have the Dragon's Lair, which is the audio animatronic dragon that is in the lower dungeon of the castle, which is something you don't get to see in the other ones. Don't get to go to the dungeon. There's the Sleeping Beauty Gallery, which is like a walkthrough with Sleeping Beauty themed stained glass windows and tapestries. And then there's a couple, there are stores in there that sell like glass figurines, ornaments, gifts. So that base is really big and it's packed with a lot of stuff
It's
that,
packed. It really is. Yeah.
so they're putting a lot of more actual usefulness into the castle besides just being a landmark. Now they have Lancelot's Carousel, and then stuff you'll find more in Disneyland Park of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio's Daring Journey, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Peter Pan's Flight.
It's funny because we have not been on Peter Pan in a while, just because at Disney World, that line is always incredibly long for Peter Pan's flight. But we went on Peter Pan's flight and it was funny. We're like, this is actually better. You actually feel like you're flying because at Disney World, I can see the track. Now, maybe it's because I've been on it for so long, but you can see the track above where it's kind of going through. They had it very, very well hidden there. You could not see that. So if you were a child, you would truly think you were flying through Neverland. It was, it was again the same but very different.
So it's worth going on.
Absolutely.
Something that's a little bit different, they have Alice's Curious Labyrinth. Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah, I wish we could have done that one because that would have been fun to see. We just again didn't have the time to squeeze it in, but that would have been really cool.
Yeah, so this is a hedge maze, and it's broken into two parts. There's Tolgi Wood, which is the first part. It's a bit easier than the Queen of Hearts maze, which is the second part. It's a bit harder. There's the Mad Hatter's teacups, but it's like a petal-shaped glass roof around it, in the surrounding like the
It's
surrounding
actually
gardens
pretty.
with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really pretty.
of course. There's It's a Small World. The facade is very similar to the Disneyland version.
So another fun fact, my daughter does not like Small World. And this is truly due to the fact that she has read the Kingdom Keepers series, the young adult series, Kingdom Keepers, that she'd never written or had never read. You need to read because it's about these young adults who are trying to save Disney World and subsequent other lands. and other parks from the evildoers that try to take over at night. So, like all Maleficent and all of her friends, everybody tries to take over at night. So, these young people try to save the parks. Well, one of the books has the characters in Small World coming alive and walking around. So, Casey's like, I'm not going on Small World. Those it's just I can't do that and watch them because they're going to come alive. The last time we were on it, we were at Disney World and we were with one of her friends. We were all together, and the ride stopped, and it went stuck.
Oh, geez.
And she's sitting there going, "I can't do this. We can't do this." We got to Disney. Of course, we got Disneyland Paris, and she's like, "Nope, I have to do this. We're in Disneyland Paris. I have to ride it just to say that I have ridden Small World, Disneyland Paris." She loved it. She said, I said, "What was different about it? Why did you like it? It's the same music." She goes, "No, it was just different." And when I finally, she said there were more cultures represented, the way they were represented, the whole it just felt very different. And she said, "I loved all the different cultures." And she's right. It was more, there were many, many more. And I can't tell you all the different ones, but there were many more cultures represented. It was just interesting. Again, that similarity, but enough differences. You're like, "Oh, I want to do that."
That's pretty neat. So maybe Disneyland and Walt Disney World, whenever they do their next renovations, they can, or well,
Maybe you can, yeah,
updates,
yeah,
whenever they plus it, you know.
that's right. That's right.
And now, mentioned with the facade, they will have like the clock and familiar
Hmm.
landmarks, kind of like on it that you're going to see. You can see like the Eiffel Tower here and Big Ben there and things like that. Now they also have the Storyland canal boats, like in
Hmm.
Disneyland Park. Casey Jr. Circus Train. You get to meet Mickey Mouse. They have a Princess Pavilion, the Disneyland Railroad, the Fantasyland Station, and then there's, I think it's pretty neat. It's Toad Hall Restaurant, which is quick service place that's more like a fish area, you know, fish on the menu, and the Old Mill, which has some snacks. And this is a great reference to the classic and groundbreaking Silly Symphony. This is where the first use of the multiplane camera, the Old Mill. So if you're a Disney history fan, next up is Discoveryland. This is themed after versions of European thinkers and explorers, so like Leonardo da Vinci, H.G. Wells, Jules Verne. So it's basically Tomorrowland, and it's similar to the Tomorrowland out in Disneyland.
Right. That is.
It has Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast. It has the Orbitron, which is similar to the Astro Orbiter or the Astro
But it
Orbiter.
looks the same, right? It doesn't seem to go as high as what the one at Disney World does.
And so the interesting thing about that is in Disney World, it's the Astro Orbiter with an ER at the end. And in Disney World, it's the Astro Orbiter with an OR at the end.
OR. Yeah.
The first time I went to Disneyland, I was like, Astro, what? That's not how you spell it. Is it? And then I had to look it up. I was like, okay, I'm right. I'm not losing my
Yeah, it
mind.
is.
Well, I might be losing my mind, just not because of that, though. And then they have an Autopia or, you know, the Tomorrowland Speedway type thing.
Which was
Uh,
we had to do that in France, so we did have to do that one.
They have the Mysteries of Nautilus, which it's a walkthrough of the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's not the actual submarine journey. So,
Which we were hoping for. We're thinking, oh, good, we got it. We got it to do this again because we missed it before at Disney World when they took it away. Yeah, no.
and now they don't have Space Mountain, but it was Hyperspace Mountain, which
Oh, uh,
this is my favorite version. And
oh
Disneyland,
my
oh, I love it
goodness.
out there.
It was insane. It was I it- we did rank everybody's, the coasters. Disneyland was still our favorite. This was in the middle. Disney World's the least. This one was just in the middle because it was intense. It was so fast, and it wasn't as smooth as I thought it might be. It's a little rougher than what I anticipated, but it was intense. It did rank in the middle though. It does. It's not it wasn't our favorite one, but it was definitely in the middle of the three.
And if you've never ridden Hyperspace Mountain in Disneyland, in like May, June, whenever they do their Star Wars celebration, they change the theme over. And
Hmm.
whenever you're going through the attraction, you hear there's speakers in the cars and you hear comm chatter from X-Wing pilots. You know, watch out,
Oh,
Red
fun.
2, there's one on your tail. I see him, Red 3, I'm right behind you. I got him. And you'll see like images of Star Destroyers and TIE fighters flying by projected on the roof of, the ceiling of inside. And so it is, being a Star Wars fan, it's just over the top,
Was
but
what
just
yeah, yeah.
anybody just it is so immersive. And the neat thing here is the cars go outside of the building at one
Yes,
point
they do. Yes,
with the
they do.
launch. And this used to be themed to like a Jules Verne from the Earth to the Moon type thing.
That would have been
Um,
actually kind of fun, I think.
yeah, it was a little more of like a beigeish off-white color to the building. So it was like kind of like a
Okay.
dingy, sepia type color, and it was kind of like they were being launched from the cannon from the Earth to the Moon
Right.
to go up.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be interested to see that old one too. I'm sure YouTube has it.
Probably. Yeah. Maybe.
They have Star Tours, The Adventures Continue. I guess you have to do it with the lights on too, with the Jules Verne thing because it's Space Mountain. But
That's true. Yeah.
yeah. Then there's the Discoveryland Theater, which has Mickey's PhilharMagic, the Disneyland Railroad Station, and then the Cafe Hyperion, which is a quick service American food place.
So one of the things we noticed too is that the food stands throughout the park, both parks actually, instead of having, and they had popcorn and everything, they always have that, but they had stands that had crepes that they were making crepes, both savory and sweet. And they had the stands that had the macarons. It's like, okay, I'm really liking these snacks. These are good snacks. And you had to partake. I mean, you can't be rude and not have some of that. They were
I mean,
lovely.
and of course, the Disney calories don't count. So
No,
it's,
well, you walked them off for one thing, so it doesn't count. So
but you're just, appreciating the culture. And it,
exactly.
I think Maureen said it right. It would be rude not to try it.
Exactly.
I think that's a good excuse I'll use next time I'm at Disney World or Disneyland too. We came all this way. It'd be rude. The
It'd be
food's not going
rude
to eat
not to do
itself.
this. Right.
Somebody's got to eat
Yes.
it.
That's right.
But yeah, you don't have to just go to Epcot into the France area to get the yummy crepes. You
There you
can get them
go.
in several
That's right.
places.
Oh, yes, you could.
We're going to interrupt our normal podcast. So Maureen and I talked for like an hour and a half. So we're going to cut this a little bit short. We're going to break this into two different parts. So next week we'll finish off with the rest of the stuff talking about Maureen's amazing trip to Disneyland Paris. For today, though, I'm going to give my travel tip is that when you go to, well, anywhere, we've given this advice before too. No matter where you're going, do your homework before you go. Figure out whether it's an amusement park, whether it's just a city, whether it's a national park, different country, whatever. Do your homework. Figure out what they have to see that might interest you. Make your plan of things that you want to see the most. So have your must do list, then your really want to do list, then your hey, if we have time, let's do this list. So you're going to kind of put everything you can do into kind of like tiers, have like a hierarchy. That way, whenever you're in your destination, you're not going to be surprised by something necessarily of, oh, I didn't know that existed. Or you're not going to come home from it and then realize, oh, I could have done that. I didn't know about it. So just to get the most out of your trip, go ahead and read up about what's going on or talk to your travel advisor. And then they can give you ideas of what would interest, you can talk to them and see what's going to interest you. They can give you suggestions, things along those lines. Because you don't want to go on a trip and then have those regrets of, oh, I should have done this instead. Now, things like that can happen anyway, but the more preparation you do and the more you're prepared for your trip, the less likely that's going to happen. And of course, it can always be surprises of, oh, I didn't know this existed if something new comes up. But still, do your homework beforehand to help try to maximize your fun on your trip and get the most out of what you want to get out of your trip. So, if you have a destination or an experience that you'd like to have us discuss on the Where Yinz Goin podcast, or if you'd like to share your favorite destination or have a travel tip, feel free to contact me. I'd love to hear your feedback and ideas. Maureen, how can people get a hold of you?
Maureen at dreamsbydesigntravel.com or on Facebook, it's Dreams by Design Travel with Maureen.
Here at the podcast, we are on Facebook and X with at Where Yinz Goin. Yinz Yinz Goin Goin with the apostrophe. All this information is going to be in the episode description. So if you'd like to contact us to book a trip or have any questions, you know how to find us. You don't have to have written that down or have to memorize it now. Please like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend. If you like what you heard, let other people enjoy it as well. Maureen, thank you so much. I now need to make a trip to Disneyland Paris. So my bank
Absolutely.
account does not like you, but I like you, so it's okay.
Thanks for letting me share. It was truly an amazing trip, and we absolutely love Disneyland Paris.
And you get to relive the trip, which is a nice thing about talking about it at the end. Yeah. And my little girl's about to go ride bikes now too with her mom.
Oh,
So she's happy. I'll be out in a little bit. So, but Maureen will be back to talk about her other adventures in Paris and France, and then another one to talk about just international travel in general. So, tips and tricks that we've picked up while traveling internationally that hopefully we'll share with you, and hopefully you can take that and enhance your journey. So, please join us next time. We're heading out in that. We'll see you later.
bye.